Here are your candidates for the exec elections 2023. For president, we've got Max and Molly. For democracy and communities, we've got Shivanti and Georgia. For academic experience, we have Lot. For equity, diversity and inclusion, we have Shamishka, Libby, Valen and Rachel. And for sport, we have Lizzie, Ben and Julian. And don't forget Ron. Ron stands for Reopen Nominations, which can be voted for in any of the runnings. So, who are you voting for? Polls open at 9 a.m. on the 28th of February and they close at 4 p.m. on the 2nd of March.
Hello and welcome to a brand new show we have on LSUTV. My name is Hannah McCann and today I am joined with the lovely Rafael and Anouska for our new show.
Hi.
This is the countdown to the count up. So we'll just be discussing all things elections for the last half hour of voting before voting closes at 4 p.m. Guys, how are we feeling?
Oh, this is so exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm so excited, but I'm so nervous at the same time.
I know it is nerve-wracking because like we've had this whole campaigning and now it's like finally coming to an end.
Exactly. Wow.
So first thing that I wanted to talk about today, so we've got a lot to get through.
Let's go.
I wanted to talk about the candidate roadshows that we've had going this year. So this is new this year, isn't it? So Anouska, what's your opinions on the candidate roadshow? Like, do you think that they've had much impact?
So I went down to the one, it was at James France, I think. I can't remember if it's yesterday or the day before, but the Days of All merged into one. I think it's a really good opportunity for students to come and meet the candidates in person and encourage them to make those informed votes. I think it's really positive and I think it's quite interactive and fun. They've been quite well attended from what I've seen. I think that it helps break down that barrier between like elections and disengaged students potentially, that if they're physically in front of you then you've got no choice to go speak to your candidates. So
I mean, it's very different because obviously I've been doing media for a few years now and the last time that I did elections was COVID year, so it was like completely online campaigning. So this is like quite different to just having like an Instagram account to campaign for yourself.
I think it's nice that they're trying to do new things, but I think I went there once or twice and it was a bit quiet. There wasn't a lot of people there.
Which one did you go to? The Union?
No, in the lounge.
Oh, yeah.
In the lounge.
Yeah.
And like you said, it was really nice to talk to the candidates and just, break that wall between the role, the candidate, and then the students that they're representing. So, I think they did a good job this year doing that.
So what was it that they were told to sort of promote at the candidate roadshows? Was it just kind of like sell yourself? Is that they come up with like their own posters and their own sort of strategy for that?
A little bit of a try before you buy almost, I think.
And they also had some games. I remember some of them had some games and wheels and everything. It was quite nice.
Lots of freebies and things to
cookies
encourage them to Subway cookies.
So one thing we were talking about before we started was the logo for the candidate roadshow, because like we actually weren't 100% sure like what it was going to be.
I thought it was something to do with the car, that they were in the car or I don't know, something to do with the car, but apparently it wasn't anything like that. It wasn't very clear, but then you go to the lounge and you realize it's kind of a you follow and you go and see everyone.
That's the one I saw, because I'm always like out and about in the Union, so I didn't get to see the other ones. I went to the one at James France as well, because when you just come out of your lecture it's like right there, so it's quite good. West Park, it's too far from me. I don't venture over to those ends.
But I think it wasn't very clear. But like I said in the beginning, I enjoyed the initiative. I think they
that's
did
good
well.
feedback.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I think generally there's been quite a broader focus this year on candidate welfare and making sure that the opportunities that students have and the candidates have to, interact with one another has been as not intimidating as possible and to help guide them to do that, because I think last year I found when we were campaigning was like going to a lecture by yourself and having to set yourself up in James France, EHB, wherever, is actually quite intimidating. So having that sort of structure to help you do that and sell yourself effectively, and while giving the other candidates an equal chance, I think is I think it's a really positive thing.
Totally.
Did you have a lot of influence in that? Obviously, anyone who doesn't know, like, we have the current welfare EO with us. So that wasn't like...
You didn't have your touch on it.
No, I was not on the elections working group, so I had to stay very far
you have to stay completely separate.
And
I couldn't get
fair.
the inside tea. I was very much
no inside tea.
There wasn't
no
much
goss.
No, not really.
Well, we can. So it ends at 4:00. So after 4:00, you can say whatever you want, right?
Within reason, we'll say.
It depends what you ask me.
Yes, well, it's interesting what you said, Rafael, because you said, you know, when you go into the lounge and you were looking around all of the candidates, and the incentive was there because they had the free, like, Subway cookies at the end of the candidate roadshow. So that's another thing I kind of wanted to touch on was, do we think that these kind of incentives then sort of encourage uninformed voters in the elections?
Yeah, I think to an extent, yes, because you can just pop around there and just to get the cookie, and you don't even have to talk to people. And you just want to get the cookie. But again, it depends on, you know, who you are, and if you're, you know, if you inform yourself about who's, and if you're genuinely interested about the executive elections and who's running. And
however, how many people out of what we've got, like, how many people have voted?
I think it's over 1,400.
There's a lot of people have voted already, and how many people do we think have actually read each manifesto?
It's interesting you say that. So we had 2,000 unique voters on the first day, about 600 yesterday, and then we've had, subject to how the next 25 minutes go, we've had about something quite similar, about near 1,000. So I do think when students, I think a lot of people will vote on the first day. I think naturally, obviously, you've had the first few days of campaigning, you've had the soapbox.
Fresh in your minds.
People are going to have made their minds up, right? So I can understand why there's a big peak and then maybe a slight dip, because there might be people who are a bit teetering on the edge, and that's, you know, where if you're given a cookie, then you are just going to think, well, sod it.
Compared to last year, of course, you were a candidate last year. Yeah. Do you think there's been more people voting this year?
So we beat last year's target, which is amazing. So we had,
that's wonderful,
3,200-ish unique voters last year, and I think we're hopefully going to reach about 3,700. So
that's probably tell us that this new kind of projects, the roadshow and everything, it's probably working because people are voting more.
I think it's put in front of their faces, so they do kind of, whether they like it or not, have to at least see the elections, and you know, they have that choice whether to engage. But I think making sure that the elections is more visible has been probably
helps getting more voters.
I mean, if you think about it, though, 3,000 people out of how many people go to this university?
18,000.
18,000. Is that really an accurate representation of who?
Yeah, it's interesting because obviously we have our.
It is a lot of people, but it's not exactly like
representative of the entire community. For sure.
Yeah, exactly. And if, say, a quarter of those are uninformed
voters, then it's difficult.
Yeah, because I say this because, so I mentioned that I saw the James France Roadshow. Yeah. I was in a lecture in the morning and then came out and I saw Alice and Danny sitting at the table with the voting and the cookies and the wristbands and stuff. And I went over with my course friends and they were like, oh, like, what's this? You know, I was like, oh yeah, like I already voted this morning.
So did you have any idea of what they would do?
No, I was like, they were like, oh, if we vote then we can get a cookie. And I was like, okay, who are you going to vote for? And they were like, I don't know.
Honestly, I've been downstairs in just by the piazza downstairs. Called the living room now, sorry. I'm living in the past. No, and I was there today with a couple of members of staff, and I had a lot of students come over to me. They see the nice shiny purple wristbands you've got there, Hannah, and like, I've heard there's a Subway voucher going around. So I'm like, yeah, you've got to vote first. And 60 seconds later, they're back, and I think,
yeah,
I'm not sure how informed that was.
But not
because it's that debate between, okay, we just want to get people voting, but then are they voting consciously?
Is it fair?
It's a fine line to toe, I think. Yeah, especially.
Then what's more important is to get more voters, or then like true voters, people that vote to be conscious. And
yeah, that's true, because I say like only a small proportion of the university have voted for who they want as their like elected members. However, if that was like well-informed people, I guess maybe it's people who are involved in the union, so it's people that will like impact on those decisions. I don't know, it's kind of difficult, isn't it?
Yeah, it's hard, it's complex.
Because obviously on Sunday we had the Soapbox.
Yeah.
And I was directing that show, and we had
You
maybe...
did a great job.
Yes,
Thank you. We had maybe 400, 500 views on Soapbox.
Wow.
And I'm kind of think, me and Anouska kind of said this, like, is that enough people to be watching the Soapbox? When in previous years, it's been such a big debate, such a big deal. Everyone watches the Soapbox, and clearly like it's not as popular anymore. Or is it just not advertised well enough?
I don't know, because you were saying less people voted last year, but there were more viewers on Soapbox last year. This year,
not
more
by many.
voters.
Not by many.
Really?
Yeah. Whereas I feel like whenever I was in first year, people would be talking about the Soapbox.
It was something. Big deal.
So what do you think the relevance is of Soapbox nowadays? Like, do you talk about it to your like housemates or your friends, or?
I think it's a bit biased for me because I live with two executive members, so maybe I should answer that question.
But I think it's definitely important because it's the only chance they have to speak to the people they're voting.
Oh yeah, so important.
Because otherwise they'll just have social media or the road shows, which not everybody goes to. So definitely Soapbox is the only platform they have to tell people what they want to do, what they want to change.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think it's the opportunity. Obviously, at the first roadshow, we had the chance for students to write and submit their own questions, and a couple of which.
Oh, I liked that one.
Yeah,
I liked that students submitting their own questions, because then in the Soapbox, Gemma was like, "Question from a student," and I was like, "Do you know what? That student voice is being heard."
Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's always been there. I think in previous years they've used Twitter and asked to use a hashtag or whatever to get them to submit questions. But I think, again, having something physical there for them to actually, right, you can do it right here, right now, and it's there, so you might as well do it. So I think that's how we had so many questions, a massive pile. So yeah, I think that was really good.
Yeah, I mean, it's a long show, and I understand that not everyone can sit for 3.5 hours and watch a debate. It's quite daunting, isn't it?
Definitely.
I mean, even for us, but I mean, whenever you're sitting there in front of the screen in media, time flies. It does.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, but there was actually some really interesting debates this year, and I think maybe in comparison to previous years, it wasn't as, we tried to make it less daunting and less of like an absolute grilling.
Yeah.
It's just people there really just telling what it's still a very pressure show. There's still a lot of pressure involved because, like I said, it's the only time they have to talk to people.
Yeah.
But at the same time, just make it a bit more. This is just you telling us what you want to change, what you want to do. Yeah. But still, there's still pressure.
Definitely. I had a really interesting conversation with Danny. I think it was yesterday about this, that with Soapbox, and as I previously mentioned, having a bigger focus on candidate welfare this year, we don't want to have students having panic attacks and crying their eyes out after their Soapbox, but at the same time we don't want to think, oh, I got off easy. Like the point is to really be grilled on your manifesto and make sure that you know your stuff,
but still be in a comfortable environment.
Exactly.
Like it's a chance to show a little bit about you and a little bit about your personality alongside what you're going to bring to the table, I think.
Definitely.
And that bit of this and that was very fun to
we tried to make it quite lighthearted. I mean, me and Bethan filmed that and we were just like, what should we say?
But it's always nice to know them as a person before their ideas and what
that's the bottom line, isn't it? Like everyone running is just people. And like at the end of the day, it's students like putting themselves out there. Do you know what I mean? And I think that
it takes a lot of courage, a lot of to put forward for massive roles.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because I mean their face is going to be plastered all over the union, all over like social media.
And it's
so
a lot
I mean,
of responsibility. And I think this year, because of course I was here last year and I think these candidates, all of them, they have, well, at least they said they have a lot of experience in leadership roles. So it's not that kind of year where they're just people, trying to become president or any of the other roles without having any form of leadership role before experience. This year, I think all of them are prepared. I think all of them have had experience before, and they're prepared to.
That is definitely something that I want to touch on later, because so many of them actually do have experience in like multiple committees, like not just one.
For sure.
Even though like some candidates are quite young this year, like they've actually got experience in like loads of different like sections of what they're running for. So it is quite interesting, actually. As well, I wanted some feedback from you guys. What did you think of the new structure of Soapbox this year? So we had a little bit in here. We had Anouska in here.
Back again.
Back again.
By popular demand, I'm back.
I heard some people quite liked the like sort of chit-chatty aspect, like after the interview in here.
Yeah, I think because formal, the Soapbox is such a formal setting as well. I know that this year that's maybe changed or hasn't changed, depending on what you guys think. I think it's good to have that debrief, like any good conversation.
It kind of took out like some formalities from it.
Relax a bit from the stress.
Yeah.
And from the intensity of Soapbox. It's nice for them also after the interview, come here and just, how did it go? It's just, time to relax. You've done it, so relax a bit.
Yeah, no, definitely.
No, I quite enjoyed it. It was quite fun because obviously I was just sitting right there, and then all the action was just like all around me.
Yeah, I did miss the opening and closing statements. I felt that was quite a strong way.
Yeah, we didn't do that this year. I did kind of think halfway through, like, should we have done that?
You just thrown straight into the deep end. First question, here we go.
However, like that's probably quite intimidating whenever you go in and you just know the camera is on you and you have to like get your words out, because I'm sure like people have like pre-prepared exactly what they're going to say.
I did.
Did you do that?
I knew my work. I
rehearsed.
But
I think now that you said that, I think that's one of the things we probably could have added to Soapbox this year. I think it's one of those more official bits of Soapbox, which I think I think are needed.
Yeah, I agree. I think we wanted as well to have the opportunity for candidates to challenge each other a little bit more this year and put each other up on their points. Do you feel like that was done effectively?
What I did like was obviously people who are running for the same positions, right? They're going to have different views on some things. So I did notice in like the EDI one that Valen sort of she said like they said at one point like, oh, actually like I disagree with what you've said there, Rachel, and then like brought in a different point, and I was like, oh, like this is actually like good, interesting debate.
That's what we need.
But then also we had Molly in the presidential debate like backing up things that Max had said, so they'd both done their research and then they were like agreeing on certain points, and it's like interesting
indeed.
It goes back to what I said. They're prepared. They're not here just to play around. They're here because they're prepared. And I definitely saw some more of arguments for the EED. Is that what it's called?
EDI, Rafael.
Yeah, sorry, EDI.
It's okay.
EDI, which was very nice to see some more kind of arguments between them, because we don't all think the same, and sometimes I think they can just be a bit quiet and just say their ideas, then the other one says their ideas. Yeah, it's nice to see.
It's so easy to sit and go, yeah, I agree with the previous person, and to
challenge them.
Different points of views are like valuable, I think, in discussions like that. 100%.
Yeah,
especially whenever you're representing different groups.
Definitely.
Okay, so we've got just over 10 minutes until voting closes.
Ooh.
So if you're listening and you haven't voted yet, please get your vote in. You can vote on the LSU app and on the LSU website. So please get your votes in. Every vote counts. And this is for your new executive members for next year. Exciting.
Do you remember what you were feeling?
Oh my gosh,
year?
I think I was such an anomaly. Like we got to the lounge about 3 hours before our results were read out, and we had like a nice meal and some drinks with our campaign team, and I felt so violently unwell the whole time because
nervous.
Just such a like real internal battle with myself as well. Like, have I done enough? Did I do everything right? Like, what about my competition? Did they do a better job than me? I remember just going to the toilet so many times. I thought I was going to be sick. Like it was.
Gosh, that sounds overwhelming.
It was so overwhelming. But I think part of it's because I put so much pressure on myself. And
and then did it change once voting was closed?
Oh,
It was a bit more, okay, there's nothing else I can do.
Yeah, I think after voting had closed, we were like, right, we've been to every dining hall multiple times. You lose all sense of shame a little bit when it comes to a certain point. Like, oh, I'll go to another lecture. I don't care what they think. I'll shout in a dining hall. I'll make a really cringy TikTok. I don't care anymore. So, yeah.
But then you won.
Yeah.
And it paid off.
Yeah.
Well, here you are.
Yeah, here I am now. So it paid off.
So the way you were saying that you felt like quite overwhelmed, if you could like advise any of the candidates that are feeling like that today, what would your advice be?
Okay, so I'd say naturally there are going to be people tonight who aren't successful and aren't going to get the role they wanted. And I think in that time period, you think it's the single most important thing on the line, and if you don't get this, then your world's going to come crumbling around you. But what I would say is, to the people that aren't successful or just are nervous, whether you get it or not, this is such a big thing to have done, and it's such a stepping stone for other things. Like, you've put yourself out there to 18,000 students. Like, that's such a big feat. And I think it's a bit cringy and a bit corny, but there'll be so many more opportunities for people who aren't successful, and I hope that they use this as a springboard to go on to bigger and better things. But yeah, it does seem like the biggest thing in the world at this point, but I promise you, like, once the hype dies down, and not many people care as much as you think. So
and try to think. I think I've never been in that position, but I think one of the advices that they should put in their minds is, you've done all you could. There's nothing else you can do. Just be proud of what you did, because this is such a courageous, such a brave thing to do.
It really is.
So just feel proud of yourself, I think.
Yeah, I mean, no matter the result, I'm like a strong believer that everything happens for a reason.
Yes,
absolutely.
Yes, definitely.
I mean, people who come away unsuccessful from these sort of elections still go on to achieve amazing things. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's people I can think of in the past.
If something
they've had
wrong
great...
I think if something wrong is, or if something doesn't go quite like you want to, it's because there's something way better ahead.
Absolutely. One of my housemates last year, I won't name who it was, but ran in the elections a few years ago and lost by such a fine margin, and I remember how upset they were, and I lived with them last year, and they could still recall the exact number of votes they lost by. So I say it doesn't matter, but maybe some do remember the exact number they lost by, but they're I won't say exactly what they're doing, but they've got such an incredible career ahead of them, and it's so like, what's the word, patronising, say, it doesn't matter, you did your best, but it really doesn't matter.
Oh no, I completely agree. And I mean, even if you lose by a fine margin, like, you've still had so many supporters to lose by a fine margin.
You nearly did it. I don't know, what do you guys think is worse, losing by a landslide or losing by, say, 10 votes?
Losing by a landslide.
Oh, really?
But because if you lose by 10 votes, like, it still shows that you've had loads of people backing you. It shows that you've done something right. Do you know what I mean? That's my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah. So you think that's better, losing by a big margin?
Oh no, sorry, I meant.
Oh, okay. I was going to say.
Oh no, sorry. I mean, I would rather lose by 10 votes. Yeah, 100%. Sorry.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah.
Really, I don't know. I think
it just gives you motivation. Like I said, you almost won.
I think for me it'd be the what ifs. What if I'd just gone to one more lecture, if I'd gone to one more dining hall, if I'd spoken to 10 more students?
That motivates you for the next time, the next thing you go for.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To go that extra mile.
I'm curious, have you ever wondered, or have you ever thought about rerunning? You've never thought?
No. I've had a lot of questions from,
No, I'm just curious. Sorry to put you on the spot, but
no, of course it's okay. I had a lot of questions from university staff, like, like, what's next for you? Were you gonna think about rerunning? I was like, no, I'm all right. I think 1 year's enough.
Everyone has their time.
Of course.
I think even now, like, I get how Alex felt last year. I've got 4 or 5 months left. I'm like, what? I feel like I have done my time nearly. I've still got yonks to go, but I think I'm ready to go on to the next big thing. I think, whether I was to rerun, I don't know if 2 years. I don't know. I think the vibe would have been different a second year, and I think there would have been more pressure on me as a returning candidate. And I feel like whether you go from another role to president, I feel like it's not that much of a step up. I think sure, the duties change, but I feel like there's not that much progression. Like, as these executive officers, you are at the top of the organisation. You are
100%.
You are the big dogs, if you will, and there's not really much trajectory or progression in that sense. So that's probably why I think I'm looking for a new challenge.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Nice.
So for the oncoming candidates, what do they have to look forward to?
I would say to the people who are elected tonight, don't get too excited. We've still got 4 months left. Don't tread on our toes. No, I think the run up to the exec is actually, your term's actually really exciting.
Yeah, it's so exciting.
Like I mentioned on Sunday, if you're like me and you have a committee sit under, you get to help appoint your new committee. We have President's Dinner, which is like an annual dinner between the old team and the new team to celebrate the year.
That's nice.
Yeah, that was really nice. I really enjoyed that last year. What else? Handover was where it starts to feel really official. What else?
And you just nosedive right in.
Then you're just left straight to it. I was kind of expecting Alex to come in. I'm like, oh, where is he? And yeah, you're just left to your own devices then, and then you're the exec. So there is so much to look forward to, and that build up is really, really exciting. Mind you, I did start exec 5 days after I graduated, so I didn't really have that much like respite.
Big summer holiday.
Yeah, I think that's definitely something to bear in mind, is that your summer holiday does not exist. Definitely, if you can go out, if you can just chill before your graduation,
100%.
Enjoy it while you can.
Do it while you can, because it's very easy from I think August until September, and then you get to freshers and you're like, oh my god, it's 0 to 100. So
well, we've got 3 minutes left until the voting closes.
3 minutes.
3 minutes left until voting closes for the 2023 executive elections. So anyone who has not voted yet, this is your final chance.
Do it.
And anyone who is part of AU clubs, halls, societies, these votes all count towards Hall of the Year, AU Club of the Year, Society of the Year. So it really does count for yourself. I mean, they're going to be representing you in the future as well.
Exactly.
So please get your votes in. Have a look at the manifestos really quickly if you haven't already, and get your votes in. 2.5 minutes left.
Oh.
No, but as you were saying, whenever you were saying a lack of summer holiday, one thing I picked up that Harry said, he was like, make use of your annual leave.
Yes,
you can,
especially in that first term. I will say to any executive or future executive, that first semester, the July until December,
I can just imagine how overwhelming it is.
You don't have a break. You don't have half term, you don't have freshers. Well, you're working during freshers, so I think it's really important to take breaks, and even if it's just like a weekend off, or not weekend, but a 3-day weekend, say, or like take a week away and go on a city break somewhere, which I did recently, which I came back feeling so refreshed. And it's so important to take breaks during that that first semester, because you have so many challenges back to back, especially for like my section. We had September, which was freshers, and we had Black History Month, then we had Movember, and then it was just one thing after another. It was really intense, and I wasn't the one doing most of that work, but it was really challenging, and it felt like one thing after another. So
is that something you're really proud of, though, that you've like able to pull it off?
Yeah, I think there have been some challenges this year, and it's been really good to like still
come out of the side.
And pull together as an exec team, especially with some of the challenges we've had this year, I think.
Because that's very important, I think, and this is something that they've said during Soapbox. You need to take care of yourself before you can take care of others. So take care of your mental health, of your physical health, because if you're not well, you can't take care of others.
Absolutely. I think a blessing and a curse with these executive officer roles is that you are quite visible. You sit on so many like senior committees at the university. You're very visible within the union. You wear that stash everywhere. And while that is a blessing, it's also, you will get thrown to the sharks if people aren't happy with something, or
you're the face of everything.
You are the face of the LSU. So if LSU doesn't do something right,
it's your fault.
Everything's your fault. Like if you did something good, great, but if you did something wrong, it's all your fault.
Yeah.
And we've got 10 seconds.
10 seconds.
10-second countdown.
Oh my goodness.
Should we do like a proper countdown?
Ready? 5,
4, 3, 2, 1.
There we go. 4 o'clock.
Voting is over.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Now the nerves really start to kick in.
There's nothing more the candidates can do.
No.
4 o'clock. Voting is now closed for the executive elections 2023.
Wow.
So.
It's a weird feeling.
Yeah.
And you're going through this again.
Yeah.
This is a big sigh of relief, I feel, for the candidates.
I think for everyone here at LSU, from
media. Oh no, sorry, we've got results now.
From the elections working group to all the members of staff who had to sit at a ballot station for hours on end, and the staff at Subway as well. Honestly,
yes.
Big shout out to the Subway staff. You have all been amazing, and the queue was very long.
Miles
today, so,
long.
Yeah, well done to everyone. It's been an interesting one. So
It has been really interesting.
yeah.
Yeah, we should thank all of them, for sure.
Yeah,
Let's
have
see.
we got a final number? Of
Right, if you refresh your stats, we've got some stats that have just come in.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you're reading the same as mine. Can you see what they are, Anouska?
I don't think it's updated on my phone. It says it last updated at 3 o'clock, so it might take a couple of minutes for it to update on the website. But yeah, we can definitely talk about what we're seeing so far as well, just like in total. So our last update was that we have 3,600 unique voters, and across all the roles there have been about 14,200 votes. So roughly about 4 votes for each role. So it just shows that not everyone is voting for every role.
Yeah.
What do we think about that?
That's actually really interesting. Because why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Why did you vote for a single?
I think Loughborough, people here have the tendency to have their really strong allegiance to the section that they feel most passionate about. So there might be a lot of people who think, I'm going to vote for whoever's going to represent me on the AU next year, and I'm just going to
And they do that. Done.
Oh yes, the sporty people, they might just vote for the sport.
For the sport, yeah. But I think it's interesting because even when you vote online and then you go to the website, after you vote for one, the page automatically moves to the other section.
Like, why not?
So
just do it.
Why don't do it? Yeah, it's quite weird, but you know, how many votes for 3,677? That was at 3 o'clock, wasn't it?
Yeah. Hopefully we'll get an update in a few minutes. Let's have a look.
But yeah, and I think when they had the data of the AU clubs, I think the club that voted the most, I think was it lacrosse? I think
yes.
Yeah, lacrosse turned out.
Okay, so from what I was looking at earlier,
yeah,
there has been a little bit of a change because I was watching this earlier on because I was encouraging my girls to get their votes in. I saw hockey was down in the leaderboard and I was like, girls, come on, we can do better.
Shame
than
on
this.
you.
No, so at the top we've got lacrosse.
Yeah.
On 65%, it says on my laptop. That could have changed in the past couple of minutes.
Yeah.
And then powerlifting and weightlifting. Now, that's interesting because we know Lizzie is a big member of lacrosse and Julian is a big member of the power and weightlifting.
So that's where they have support from their own.
Oh, women's hockey have gone up. Let's go. Well done, girls.
Well done.
Love to see it. No, but being a part of an AU club, I guess that is really influential. Yeah, because Lot said she was part of softball.
Yeah.
It wasn't. Yeah, they're right up there as well.
Oh,
you can see them.
Yeah, I think snow sports up there as well, which is
snow sports is up there. Cheerleading. I want to say Georgia was in cheerleading.
She is.
Yeah. So
that definitely has an impact.
Their clubs are backing them.
People, and you're in touch with so many people. Yeah. So it definitely helps you with votes. But that doesn't mean anything. That might help you.
This is a good representation of the Loughborough community, isn't it?
Yeah.
Definitely.
I mean, one thing that people do talk about, and a couple of candidates actually talked about this being like one of their favourite parts about Loughborough, is the community sense in it.
Loughborough family.
Yeah, so it just shows that like it's bringing clubs together.
Yeah, definitely.
Bringing clubs together, halls together, which is really nice. So halls, we got Royce up there, just pipping Faraday to the post.
Oh, interesting.
It would be nice to have the data from last year so we could compare it.
Do a little comparison. Yeah. That would be interesting.
That would have been interesting.
One thing I'm looking at is the fact that the highest number of voters from a hall was only 51%. That's only half of a hall.
Yeah, I think the biggest hall on campus, Folkegg, has about 500, give or take, 500 bedrooms. So, Yeah, I mean, it's good to see that John Phillips, although it's at the bottom, is
voting.
Yeah, is voting. I think it's traditionally been a postgraduate hall.
Yeah.
But I think there are some freshers woven in there, so that's good to see that they've still turned out as well.
I actually know some postgrads in Falkegg as well.
Oh.
There is a little master's block down at the back.
Oh, love that.
Yeah, so I'm happy to see like postgrads voting as well, because it does impact like the future postgrads at Loughborough.
Yeah, definitely.
Even if they're not going to be here forever.
And I think it would be also very interesting to know, because some of the debates during Soapbox was Loughborough London and Loughborough.
Yeah.
It would be interesting to see if
actually you can see the Loughborough London votes as well.
Oh, yeah.
And the percentage of that, because they're still part of the Loughborough University.
Let me see.
Although they're in London.
Loughborough London, the 4th biggest vote from a school.
No way.
Yeah.
That's
Loughborough London, 23%.
That's incredible.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so much.
That's actually really nice to see.
That was so much better than last year. I think the last year the Loughborough London turnout was very, very, very small. So it's really great that they're engaging with us.
It's great because, like I said, this was a debate during Soapbox. I think all the candidates were talking about how to bring Loughborough London closer to Loughborough in Loughborough.
Yeah, definitely.
And now this is a sign that they're part of it.
Yeah, I know that one of our members of staff, we've got a full-time member of staff now, Vish, who works in Loughborough London to represent LSU. He's, I think, the postgraduate coordinator. I know that he had a station down there in London, so I think, again, talking about the candidate roadshow, I think having those stations where you can see and the elections are right there in front of you has definitely had some benefit and has probably definitely played into that a lot.
But that's
amazing.
I mean,
so
Raf,
good.
we paid a visit to Loughborough London recently, didn't we?
We
did.
Yeah, we did. So obviously,
lovely.
me and Raf, being a part of the LSUTV committee, we travelled down for the Talk Sport event, because obviously there was one day in the East Midlands campus and then one day in the London campus.
It was so good.
So we went down just to like get some footage and like talk to everyone, like see what it was like, and we got a nice tour of the BT Sports Studios as well, which is just next door.
So
That's
good.
amazing.
But like it was such a nice like collaboration between like the two campuses.
They should
The
do
fact
more
that they
things like
invited us
that.
down and we went down, everyone was like showing us around, and
They should definitely do
like,
more things like that.
I think I didn't know what to expect, because it's
me
not
neither.
really like, I don't know, no one really talks about it as much if you're not like a part of the London campus. But it was so nice just to go down and like see what it was all about. Like it is actually like a lovely building, like it's so modern, so nice.
And once you're in the building, it kind of feels like you're in Loughborough.
Yeah.
really?
The furniture and the way everything is, it looks like we're in Loughborough.
It is
which
Loughborough
so
vibes.
weird.
Yeah, Robbie
'cause
said
we're
that, I
London.
think. Yeah. He said that in one of our videos. It was like, he was like, we literally feel like
Are
we're in
we in
Loughborough, and we're not.
Wow.
Yeah.
But it was lovely, and it's nice that there's this collaboration going on, and hopefully more things will happen between Loughborough in the East Midlands and Loughborough in London.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of work still to be done between ourselves and London. And
Yeah, 100%. But I think like this is positive.
Yeah, super.
100%.
Definitely.
Let's see.
So any more?
Oh, wait, it's updated.
That looks like an update.
I think that's the final.
Because it was 14 last time, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Mm.
Right.
So what can you tell us?
So
Hannah,
our final voter count. Let me just
Yeah.
go to the total votes. So the total number of votes cast. Oh, mine's not updated. I'm just looking at Hannah's screen. Is 3,881 voters.
Okay.
So it was so close to 4K.
I know.
We jokingly said that if we reached 4K, we would have done an exec song, but
Still do it.
Yeah, you can still do it.
I'll see if I can pull some strings. Yeah, I think it's a similar ratio, right? It's about 3.84. 4 roles have been voted.
Don't
for.
ask me about numbers.
Yeah, no.
No, I did psychology. I don't know.
Yeah, okay, so that means that the final percentage is in. Oh, women's hockey up 50%. Let's go.
So lacrosse has now gone up to
68. That is
Wow.
68.
68, yeah.
Oh wow, mine says 65.
68% of lacrosse have voted.
Wow.
That's big. That's actually huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how big lacrosse actually is, but someone told me earlier that they're one of the
They've
biggest.
got at least
Yeah.
4 teams, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, okay.
They're one
Yeah.
of the biggest AU teams.
Yeah.
Aren't they?
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So
Let's
then
see.
schools, well, we have halls first.
Let's go to halls.
Halls are interesting because we do have some people running who were hall chairs this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So whenever I was doing fresher move-in days, a couple of the candidates I actually interviewed because they were hall chairs.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking Falkegg, Molly we interviewed at Falkegg.
Yeah.
And CP, so Claudia Parsons, Georgia, was hall chair there.
Yeah, I remember that.
Mm-hmm. I don't know off the top of my head any others. But
I don't think so.
No, I think that might be it. But
so.
yeah, the percentages haven't gone up, so it's still 51% was the top for a hall, which is interesting.
Yeah, and then schools, what we have from schools.
Let's have a look.
Schools. Oh, Loughborough London's still up there.
Wow.
I still can't get over the fact that they're so up there.
Yeah, that's like a quarter.
Yeah.
25%.
I don't know how big Loughborough London is, though. I'm not sure.
How many
No.
students?
There's not as many courses there,
No.
and it's just postgrad,
Yeah.
so...
Yeah.
But I do...
But still, they couldn't just not care about it. And at least they went and
They've
Yeah.
turned
voted.
out. They really have.
There is
great.
really a huge jump between first and second, though, like nearly 10%.
Mm-hmm.
History, politics, and international relations taking the top spot. That is so interesting, isn't
That's a bit rogue.
it? And then English and humanities. So
Okay.
that's interesting.
Yeah, I think last year, I could be wrong, but I think SSEHS were on top because I think it's the biggest
School.
Yeah. But interesting that
Yeah,
RPH
they're
is
kind
up
of
there.
taking a mid-table spot this year.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Interesting.
I like looking at the societies as well.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, what's at the top, Hannah?
Yeah.
I don't think I've heard of that society before.
What's that society?
Oh, no.
Oh no.
The Krishna Consciousness Society.
Well done to
100%.
Krishna Consciousness.
I don't know how many members there are.
Well done.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well done.
LSU classical.
You made it to the top of the list.
75%. That's
Wow.
good. That is strong from classical. Yeah.
Let's have a...
This is also interesting because we know some candidates have been chairs of certain societies.
Yeah.
Off the top of my head, I know Rachel was chair
Was it?
of...
The International Students Network, wasn't she?
Yes. Let me see.
They're not a society, but I know.
No,
that
I did have a little look.
I know Rachel has dabbled with. I think it was Oriental Sock in the past. I think.
Yeah, we
I don't know off
had
the top of my head.
one of our label writers go and speak to her about this. What was it? Vice chair of the Chinese Society. That's what I was talking. That's what I was thinking of.
That's
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Wow.
So sometimes, because I'm part of media, but not a society. So sometimes societies fly under the radar for me.
Yeah.
But they have a lot of members. Some of them.
Yeah.
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 I think also Valen, they're the chair of the LGBT plus society, so that's another
Yep,
chair.
You're right.
But yeah.
Yeah, we've got some really good turnout. Turnout
Yeah.
numbers here.
Where's State Society? I'm in the State Society. I want to know if they've
Stage
voted.
Society. Let's
Stage,
see.
I can't see. Oh, I'm seeing.
Yep, 39% from Stage Society.
Okay, that's good.
That's decent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well done, guys.
Yeah. And then we've got 63% of flicks have voted, as we know.
Oh,
Max is
Okay.
the chair
yes,
of
you're
Flicks.
right.
Yeah.
So is that
Max
gonna
the chair of
play
Flicks in a
into
minute.
it? Who knows?
Oh, it's so interesting, isn't it?
It is. And again, I wish we had the data from last year. So
Yeah.
we could do some
No.
comparisons.
But it's so hard to tell because everyone's like, there's a good mixture of people from different areas and different backgrounds. Like we're picking out so many different societies, halls, clubs that people are a part of that are like represented in these elections.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So
Because
it really is like the breadth of Loughborough
Yeah.
that
Because
we're
there's
seeing.
definitely been more candidates this year than last year.
Yeah, I
Which
can't.
is a good sign.
Yeah, I can't remember off the top of my head how many we had last year. I think we started with 12 this year. Obviously, went down to 11. And then last year, I think they were all contested apart from Danny. Danny was by himself. Alice was contested by one. Ben was contested by one. Yeah, so there were... I can't do my maths. Somebody to help me. There was 2, 2, 2 and 1. 9 candidates.
9.
There we go. Sorry everyone. And obviously Ron, as we've mentioned.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Rom's still there. Rom's still a very...
Ron will always be here.
Ron will always be there whether
Yeah.
you like it or not. So yeah, we've had an increase in candidates this year, and I think, like I mentioned on Sunday, we've got a real range of candidates from different expertise areas, different levels of involvement within the union and the university. So that's really positive. I'm really glad that we've had so much interest. Even like informal conversations we've had with people who haven't actually run. Like, I think the team have done a really good job of trying to push this to students this year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, question for you both.
Yeah.
You don't have to tell me like any specifics, but during your entire time at Loughborough, have you ever voted Ron?
Of course I have.
You have?
I think so. Yeah.
I have.
Yeah.
Yeah, so have I.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
So Ron is always lurking.
Ron is. Yeah.
I remember the first time I ever heard of Ron, so I was in the Holt in first year.
Interesting.
And whenever they introduced Ron to all the freshers, they introduced Ron as like Ronald McDonald.
Oh, this was Ronald McDonald too.
from McDonald's. Yeah, I was so confused, but then once I actually saw the LSU stuff, I was like, oh, okay, this is the angle we're going for.
Yeah, I don't know if you had this as well, but we had an anonymous person run the
Ron account,
and
yeah.
they were savage. Now, there's a lot of things that I would say that they said, but I can't say on air, but
to the hustings candidates. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, lots of inappropriate words, but yeah, I think that made me more scared of Ron when I was a fresher.
I mean, Hall hustings are more savage than candidate elections sometimes, aren't they?
Yeah, a little bit.
Very interesting indeed.
Yeah.
Right, that's all the votes in. So big thank you to anyone who voted. Every vote counts, so we're going to see the results
Tonight
in about 4 hours time.
Yeah, is it 9 o'clock that results are being read out?
I think so. I'll get my schedule up for you. I think we're expecting the results about 8:30.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll double check for you.
So we'll be streaming results tonight from here, and it is in the basement this year compared to the lounge last year.
Yeah.
Am I right?
We are in the basement, and the results will be read out from 9 p.m.
Yeah,
9 p.m.
So we're really excited to have some build up in the next few hours. So yeah, we're going to be having it in the basement this year. Smart, dressy, kind of awards vibe.
Yeah.
One thing again, candidate welfare and all. We have made an amendment this year in that the candidates won't all be on the stage. So if you don't get the role, you're not stood.
Yeah, I like that though.
Yeah, that's
and
good.
it's a bit like an award ceremony. So
only the winners go on stage.
only the winners go on stage.
Yeah.
So, and then the rest of the campaign team can be with the unsuccessful candidates. So.
Yeah, it's nice to have your campaign team there with you.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Because
Yeah,
you've worked with them for quite some time to prepare your campaign, and it's finally
the closest
over.
people to you, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Who did you have in your campaign team?
So last year, I had a bit of a mix of everyone. So
that's good though.
Last year I was the Hall and Department Reps coordinator within Welfare and Diversity. So I had a lot of links to people within halls. I then had some members of the senior committee on my team. And then who else did I have? I had a few rogue people who I knew a lot of people.
Yeah.
Because with these elections sometimes it is just
networking queen.
It's
it's
who you know that will get the word out there. Even just a little reshare on a story from someone who knows a lot of people
goes a long way.
Yeah.
I actually remember that now because I think at least I was there. The LSUTV was covering, I think, and I remember you winning. I remember that. I remember when you won.
That was it was just such a release of emotions, honestly.
I remember that night, and it was like, oh, it's like it's nice to see people, working so hard, and at the end they get it and they won it.
Yeah, it feels like it comes to a nice conclusion, obviously, for those people who are successful, and then for those who don't win, it's a
shame, but don't lose hope.
Yeah,
keep working.
Like I said, anyone who's around tonight and isn't successful, I will give you the biggest pep talk you need, because like I say, it feels like the most important thing in the world to win this and be the victorious candidate, but there's so much more outside of
100%. And I mean, like, everyone's there for you at the end of the day. Like, it's a competition.
Yeah, someone's got to lose, as I always say.
Yeah.
So you'll be there, right?
Yes.
Were you really looking forward for the night? Because
I don't know. I think that apparently we're having pizza, so that'd be nice.
Okay.
Nice food. Everyone's gonna be really dressed up, so I think it's gonna be.
You have your outfit decided? Do you know what you're going to wear?
Yeah, I'm going for a dress. I'm not going too formal this year.
Okay.
I'm not going for the long green dress that I wore last year. Probably won't fit anymore. But yeah, I think I'm looking forward to. I don't know. I think there's loads of aspects of results night that are going to be fun. The build-up's always really interesting. I think we've got a photo booth this year.
Oh, nice.
We're going to be giving executive speeches, which I've still not written mine.
Oh.
Don't kill me, Danny.
No
I'm
pressure.
sorry I've not written mine yet. And yeah, I think seeing the 5 of them up on stage will be what I'm most excited for, and just that is the new exec team.
The team. That's so exciting.
It might be a bit emotional for you. It's like you seeing the ones that's going to be to be part of the exec team.
I do feel like I've been on a trip down memory lane, to be honest, today. I think all the nostalgia from last year is starting to hit me more and more as the hours are going on, and just thinking about how I felt this time last year and all the little things I remember. It's all coming back to me. It's sad, but I'm really excited for the next lot.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, this time now, I cannot imagine like what they're feeling between voting closes and that piece of paper being read out on stage.
Yeah.
Like that is nerve-wracking. Like even I'm nervous, and I'm going to be behind
we're
the
nervous for them.
Yeah.
We're nervous on their behalf.
Absolutely. I'm definitely nervous for them, but I know, like I've said, for those people who aren't successful, that it's not the end.
Yeah, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
We're fine.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll be streaming tonight from about 8:30, I think it is. I mean, it will be going up on our socials anyway. So yeah, that's very exciting. We'll be running around like headless chickens.
Yeah.
But it'll all be worth it.
Yeah.
Come 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
And we all know.
And so once the results are, public, what happens tomorrow?
What happens tomorrow? Oh, goodness
There's
me.
the process of, changing starts immediately.
The hangover.
Yeah, probably the hangover. I don't know if there's anything on. Is it a club night tonight? Revs, maybe?
Ooh.
I don't know. I don't know if that's still really a thing anymore. So I think for the new candidates, the hard work doesn't start just yet. I think we need to make sure that we sit them all down and sort of manage their expectations of, okay, right, you're all still students at the end of the day. You need some time to take it all in, because I know I definitely did. And then I think the new team will meet with us at some point over the next few weeks, possibly, to just tell them what's to come. And I think
preparing them.
Yeah, and I think we'll drip feed them of what's to come, and we're not going to overwhelm them, because at the end of the day they're still students. They've still got dissertations to write. They've still got coursework pieces to do. So I don't think it will be very full on tomorrow. I think for some people it's gonna be still quite raw. I was an emotional mess after I got elected the day after. Like, I didn't really cry much during campaigning. I'm quite an emotional person by nature, but after I got elected the day after, the first few days, I just cried so much. So I think it's important that we don't overwhelm them straight away, and we're not like, right, you need to be ready for this and this.
Yeah, let them take a break.
Have a break.
Have a breath.
Resume student life first.
Yeah. And then, do you know the final official handover? When's that going to be,
it's
roughly?
The 28th of July.
Oh, there's a specific date already.
Oh, Anouska.
So sad.
Maybe you could get a summer holiday
at the
then.
end of the tunnel.
Hopefully this year. Yeah.
Wow. Oh, but that's exciting.
Yeah.
Exciting for them, exciting for you, because like you said, you want a new chapter.
Yeah, the end's in sight, I feel like, a little bit. I think, Easter's not too far off, and then after Easter it's, awards season, balls, the whole shebang. So we're nearly there, I think. After Easter, it's going to feel like the beginning of the end. And it is starting to feel like the beginning of the end today.
Oh.
It is. I mean, I feel like that as well in media, and it's a bit sad.
Yeah.
Like passing on
To
the baton to the next person.
Yeah.
Because are you final year as well?
I graduated.
Oh, you've graduated?
Yeah. So I graduated last summer.
Bro, this is a full-time job. This is no club. This is a full-time job.
Yeah, so I was a final year when I graduated, but I know obviously some students take this year as a placement year. Some people do it as...
What is your opinion on that?
Ooh,
Deep question.
Because I think that was something I think I always knew it was a full-time position.
Yeah.
But I didn't know, for example, you graduated. Some of these candidates are still studying.
Yeah.
So do they stop? Is it like, do they take this as a placement year?
Yeah.
So they're not studying whilst in the role?
Goodness me, no.
That's impossible.
I
Yeah,
don't think they managed to
crazy.
do that. So yeah, I think if you're obviously graduating, I graduated at the end of July, and then I started my handover week about not even a week later. And then for placement, I imagine you start again at the end of July, and I imagine they'll finish their year. I think they'll probably get more of a summer holiday than the students graduating, hopefully. So yeah, it's an interesting one.
I think it's interesting. It's like, that's a lot of responsibility for someone who's quite young.
I think a really good example of this is, I hope she doesn't mind me saying it, is Freya Mason.
Knew you were going to say that, yeah.
I think Freya was a really great example of
how to do it right.
Yeah, how to do it right. And I think there was a lot of I don't want to say concern, but I think people were like, oh my gosh, Freya's only 20 and she's going to be the president on her placement year.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy. And that's a lot of responsibility for a 20-year-old. But Freya did so well. And I'm not just saying this because I'm an executive and Freya's my friend, but Freya did such a good job and made a lot of positive changes within the LSU. You know, we had the Don't Be a Dick campaign launched under her term, the mental health conference. I know Freya like really left a legacy behind her, and I think Freya has definitely paved the way to show other people that
it's possible.
You can do it and you can do it well. So yeah,
100%.
Yeah, regardless of your age.
Yeah, I think it's really good experience as well, regardless of whether it's a placement year or a graduate job. I think it must be weird if you do it as a placement, then coming back the next year as a student.
I know.
It's a bit
because
humbling.
then you're attending the union event and no longer have...
Yeah, I'm powerless here now.
Yeah. It is a really interesting concept. But I mean, this will be you like flying the nest.
Yeah.
So what's next for you, if you don't mind me asking? Do you have anything in
I've
mind?
been asked this so many times this week, and the answer is...
You don't have to have anything on the agenda.
I
No, of
don't know.
course not.
Let's normalise not knowing what you're doing with your life.
I think that is about 80% of people at Loughborough, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, like...
That's so normal.
How many 22-year-olds know
what they're going to do for the
exactly
rest of their lives?
Exactly that.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I had a chat with my parents last week, and they called me on the phone and were like, Anouska, if you want to come home, you can. There's always a bed for you. There's always a roof over your head at home. And I live in Cornwall, so Cornwall's absolutely it's ages away, but it's very
pretty
fun.
though.
It's cute.
Gorgeous.
You get some cute photos there. So I don't know. I think if the right opportunity falls on my lap, then I'm going to take it, but I'd be quite inclined to take some time out to
You may as well like take a break.
take a break. Yeah, I didn't do a gap year or anything, so
This is your chance to like chill out.
just
You
chill
had your
out.
degree, then exec team, so just take a break.
Chill.
Yeah, relax.
I think there's so much pressure on the exec team at the moment. We're all kind of frantically looking for jobs and stuff at the moment, and I think I need to take a step back and just be like, am I just doing this because everyone else is, or do I actually
What do you really want?
What do I really want to do with my life?
Yeah.
And I'm not sure. So yeah.
Go traveling.
Oh, I'd love
Travel.
to. I'd love to
Somewhere.
go traveling.
Do it. Yeah, just relax
I
because you know.
should become a travel blogger.
Yeah, travel the world.
Yeah, definitely. Where would you guys go? If you could go anywhere in the world right now, where would you go?
Japan.
Japan. That's such a good
Really?
answer.
I've been planning a trip after my degree, and I wanted to do Spain, France, and Italy because I've been
amazing.
I've been to France once. I've been to Spain once, never been to Italy.
You're from Portugal, right?
I am from Portugal, which is lovely. It's a lovely country. Everybody who's, listening us, go to Portugal. It's a wonderful country. Do it. It's lovely.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll probably do that trip that I'm planning. Or
Awesome.
probably also Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia.
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
I'd love to go.
That sounds amazing.
I'd love to go.
That is a lovely area of the world.
Yeah, yeah.
Definitely.
Often, I'd just love to go. It's just beautiful there.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to Portugal? Sorry.
No, I haven't. I nearly went. I went on a trip, I think 2-3 weeks ago. I went to Barcelona with my boyfriend, which was really lovely. And it was either between there or Porto, I think.
Yeah. Portugal is gorgeous as well.
So yeah, I would love to go to Portugal. I keep seeing like loads of TikToks. I think it's Faro or
Faro.
Yeah.
Faro, it's in the south.
Yeah, I went there on my
like
girls'
all the-
holiday.
All the
Did you like it?
houses.
Yeah, I went to the Algarve
Yeah,
for my
did you
girls'
like it?
holiday. That was good fun.
That
Yeah.
sounds amazing.
Yeah.
So this was just a moment just dedicated to Portugal and
Yeah,
Portugal
no, it's
tourism.
dedicated to
Go
taking a
to
break,
Portugal.
looking out for yourself.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Take your holidays.
Take your holiday and
Yeah,
go somewhere
100%.
nice.
Yeah, for sure.
Guys, anything else that we want to add before we round up the show? We've been sitting chatting for an hour. It really
Really?
doesn't feel like
just
it.
went like
at
that.
all.
Just went like
honestly,
that.
That flew.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it's been
Just
great.
what is your final last words to the candidates before they enter that hall for results night?
I think I'll just say, don't worry, everything will be fine.
Yeah, everything will be okay. I'm looking at the camera where I say this.
Yeah.
Everything will be okay.
fine.
Everything will be okay.
Yes.
Everyone says it.
Yeah. Yeah. It might not seem it right now, and I think it is a bit like ripping off a plaster,
Yeah.
but I promise you this is not the end of the world.
Yeah.
And I'm available for hugs throughout the evening.
Yeah. But yeah, we wish good luck to all the candidates for
Yes,
sure. Good luck, everybody.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's the end of the show today.
Wow.
First ever countdown to the count up.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I quite liked it.
I
Yeah,
like,
it was
I like
so
that play
good.
on words.
I love being
Yeah.
here with you. It was great to be with you
Oh,
here. It was
thank
lovely.
you.
Thank you.
It really was.
Yeah. thank you guys so much for joining me today.
No problem. Thank you.
That was a good little rundown, and I hope that you guys are excited for what's to come tonight.
We are.
And I will see you guys later.
Yes.
Thank you, anyone, for tuning in.
Thank you, everybody.
And I hope you voted.
Yeah, I hope so too.
All right.
Bye, everybody.
See you,
Signing
everyone.
off.
Bye.